guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking high-end foundations. I tried to do my top 5 favorites, but I ended up with top 5 favorites and 5 honorable mentions. So it's pretty much my top 10 favorite high-end foundations. I am a foundation hoarder. I love to purchase foundations. I'm always on the hunt for better and just different foundations. So I do own a ton of different brands, but these are like my babies. These are the foundations that I repurchase and that I always run back to. So my first pick is Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation. I love this stuff. I have been using Estee Lauder Double Wear for a really long time. This is so close to perfection, it's crazy. There's one minor thing that I don't like about it, and it's that it has SPF. But other than that, I'm so obsessed with this. This is my most long wearing high-end foundation. This stuff is matte. This stuff is like bulletproof, sweat proof. This is a foundation that I know I can rely on. If you work 12-hour shifts, if you are going out at night, if you're going clubbing, this is the foundation you want to use because it is so heavy duty, but it doesn't look cakey if you prep your skin right. I always use a damp beauty blender with this, so I never get like a heavy cakey feel, but it's heavy duty in a sense that it lasts forever. Until you take it off, this is gonna just stay on your face, and for that, this is my #1 pick. I keep Estee Lauder Double Wear in my kits. Since my tan is fading, I'm the shade Tawny, but it's a little bit dark, so I just use a lot of concealer, or I'll just set my face with a lighter powder. The trick to this foundation, if you want to take flash photography with it, is either use a darker foundation shade or just use a face powder that's a little bit darker. I don't get like that super white cast with this, even when I'm using my shade, but I know a lot of people have asked me like, how the heck do I use this without flashback? And the answer is I don't get that much flashback when I use this, but I notice that it is a pinch lighter. So in order to combat that, you can just use a darker powder, but I love this stuff. It is just my holy grail. I've repurchased it so many times and I've been using it for years. I do have a whole review on this, so I will leave that down below. These are foundations that I can rely on. Now, I don't get oily. I have a dehydrated / dry skin, but I do sweat a lot, and especially in the summer, I sweat a lot. So these are foundations that if you are oily, you just would use a mattifying primer or a mattifying blot powder. If you have dry skin, just make sure to prep your skin, hydrate the skin before using this, and if you have oily skin, you're going to want to use a mattifying primer just like you would with any foundation. I just keep running back to this one, and it is just my holy grail of holy grail foundations. I love it. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. So next up is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. Now this stuff is super expensive. I have mine in the shade 3.5, but I've also repurchased this many times. It has a pump. If I'm not feeling a foundation because it's looking too heavy or cakey or just too thick, I will thin it out with this one. So what I'll do is I'll do like a cream foundation and then blend it out with Luminous Silk. Luminous Silk doesn't give you a lot of coverage. If you have a lot of blemishes, acne spots, discoloration, hyperpigmentation, this on its own won't give you that coverage. So what I recommend doing is either spot concealing or using a kind of like base foundation for coverage, and then this one for finish. This one is really forgiving also. The Estee Lauder Double Wear dries really fast, so you have to work really fast. Where this one is so fluid that it just blends really nicely and just looks like skin. Love this stuff, and for me, this doesn't give me a super luminous finish. Like, it's not like a dewy, doesn't have any glitter or anything like that, but it just looks healthy. It gives you like a healthy look without looking super duper oily. If you're oily and you want to use this, you definitely could. You just have to use a mattifying primer in the places that you get oily, which is typically the T-zone. So love Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I know everybody talks about it here on YouTube, but for a good reason, because this is a great foundation, and the powder version of this is also super bomb. So love this, and I'm always gonna repurchase this. It's a holy grail for sure. Next up is Nars Sheer Glow Foundation. I have this on right now. I have the color Stromboli on right now, and it's a pinch dark, so I just use a lot of concealer and a little bit of a lighter powder all over. But when you hear sheer glow, you're thinking it's gonna be a sheer foundation and it's gonna give you a lot of glow. But for me, it doesn't do either of those. It pretty much just looks like skin. Like, it doesn't look sheer and it doesn't look glowy. It just looks like your skin, but better. Whenever I put this on, I fall in love with it every single time. I love that Nars gets the shades right. Like, they have pink tones, but they have really good yellow tones, and I love that because I just feel like I can depend on Nars for all different skin types, especially as a freelance makeup artist. I love this. Nars Sheer Glow. It used to break me out, but for some reason, I guess I just had sensitive skin then. Now when I wear this, I don't break out, and I'm so happy about that because I always loved how this looks in photographs, on camera, in person. I'm so happy that I can now wear this and not break out because it's just an amazing finish. It's not sheer for me, it's like a medium coverage. Again, I have it on right now, and every time I wear it, I just feel like I have a good makeup day. So that's how I kind of know that I really like the foundation. So Nars Sheer Glow, it's a cult favorite, it's a classic, it's an OG. For dry skin girls, you can get away with this without using a hydrating primer, but if you have oily skin, you're gonna want to set really well. But for me, I just kind of prime as usual, and it doesn't get oily on me. It just looks like skin. I can move my face. It doesn't feel heavy. This doesn't wear as long as the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but it is a great wedding foundation because it has no flashback and it just looks flawless in person and in pictures. And the shades are great. So Nars Sheer Glow, you definitely can't go wrong. Next up is one that's fairly new to my collection, but I fell in love with it the moment I put it on. It was love at first sight. It's Hourglass Vanish Foundation. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about this. I have a whole review on this as well. I swatched 3 shades right now. I'm using the shade Sand. This is the type of foundation that you can definitely get your shade, like your perfect shade, because they have so many shades. This scared me so much at first because I do have dry skin. I thought it was just gonna not blend, and I thought it was gonna look cakey and patchy, but it was quite the opposite. Like, this blends so well. It blends like a liquid and sets like a powder. I like a matte finish, but this is like a demi matte finish. Like, it just looks like your skin, and that's like my #1 thing is I don't want to look cakey and I don't want to look like I have pounds of makeup on. I can get away with using a beauty blender with this, or if I want a little more coverage, I can use a brush. And that really says a lot because I never use brushes for my foundation, but with this one, it just blends so easily that I can do a brush with this. On me, this foundation is full coverage. I just swipe it, I blend it, and every time I wear this, I get tons of compliments on my skin. If you haven't checked this one out, definitely try it. It's new and it's already in my top 5 favorites, so you know it's good. So my 5th pick is Dior Airflash Spray Foundation. It's crazy that in my top 5, I have a stick foundation and an aerosol spray foundation. When I first started out, I wouldn't even touch anything that wasn't a liquid. So this one is a spray, and at first I was like, I'm gonna hate this because I'm gonna have to spray it all over my face, I'm gonna get it out of my hair, but I don't use it like that. I just shake it up. I either spray really concentrated areas, like really up close, or my preferred way of using this is actually spraying my beauty blender and then just blending it into the skin, and this looks so natural and yet still gives you coverage, and for that, it's just an amazing foundation. I am using shade 201. The shades are either just too light, too pink, and they don't have a good variety. Like, there's only like 5 shades and it doesn't go that dark, and I'm just not a fan of that, but I am a fan of the finish. If you want to look like you don't have makeup on but you still want to look flawless, Dior Airflash. It's like undetectable on the skin. This is the type of foundation that I can wear just this and mascara and be good to go. It doesn't look weird, it doesn't look like too much coverage, but it lasts a really good time, and I just love how it looks. With the Estee Lauder Double Wear, you can tell I have foundation on. That's like when I want to look like I have makeup on. This is my I don't want to look like I have makeup on, but I still want to look airbrush look. You can definitely mix this with something else, but if you want a natural look, Dior Airflash is bomb, and I just feel good when I wear it. I don't feel heavy, and I don't feel like, oh my god, people are staring at my skin. It just doesn't even look like I have foundation on. I spray a pretty generous amount onto the beauty blender, and the beauty blender does kind of soak up a little bit of the product, and I still have a ton of this left, so definitely can justify the price on this one. Dior Airflash, get on it. So the next 5 that I'm going to show you are my honorable mentions. So number 6 is Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation. This is just like the name implies, a naked looking foundation. Very lightweight, very natural. This is like my go-to winter foundation when I don't want to be matte or I don't want to look heavy. It just provides enough coverage. It just looks like skin, and I just feel like I don't have anything on. It's just crazy. It's definitely weightless. I have the shade 3.0. I do like the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, but I don't really have to prep with this one, and for that it's number 6 because sometimes I just don't feel like prepping or priming or anything. So if I'm on the run, if I'm on the go, and I just want to throw something on and I want to use a pump and I don't want to use the aerosol, I'll go with this this one. It has more coverage than the Armani Luminous Silk, but it's just as weightless. They're both really weightless. It has just a natural finish. It's not demi-matte, it's not matte, it's not anything. It just looks like your skin, and I just love how it sinks into the skin. I love that it has a pump, and I love how easy this one is. This doesn't give me full coverage. It's kind of just like a medium coverage, but you can build it up, which is really nice. You can definitely do 2 layers of this because it is so weightless and skin-like, and it's not gonna look cakey, it's not gonna ball up or get weird. So Naked Skin by Urban Decay, it's bomb. Definitely an underrated foundation. I feel like a lot of people don't give this one enough love. It's an awesome one for dry skin or anyone who likes a natural looking finish. Urban Decay Naked Skin. Next up is another underrated foundation that is definitely in my top 10. It's underrated here on YouTube because on Instagram I feel like it's really popular. This is the Elcie Micro Silk Foundation, and I have the shade Sand. I do feel like I run out of this a little bit quicker than I want to because it's so good. I can use it on anyone, and that's the beauty of this one. They made this foundation for any skin type, dry, oily, normal. If you're not familiar with Elcie Cosmetics, Makeup by Lilith is the owner, and she does a lot of bridal makeup. Some people say this is a little too drying on them, or it's just clinging onto dry patches. If that is happening to you with this, I recommend doing like some oils the night before. You can definitely mix this in with a little bit of an oil. You definitely want to prep with this one because it is more on the matte finish side, but dry skin people can get away with it because I have dry skin. This is a matte finish and it looks great. It looks bomb. Photographs beautifully. Doesn't have that SPF, won't give you that flashback, and it's made in the US, and I just really love supporting brands like this. So Elcie Cosmetics, this is the Micro Silk Foundation. I like recommending this one because I know that anyone out there can get away with this. It's gonna look good on every skin type. So I feel really good recommending this one because I know it's gonna work for everyone. You just have to prep a little bit differently, and it gives really good coverage. Again, it's a bridal kind of look, very airbrushed. And obviously you don't have to be a bride to use this, but who doesn't want to look airbrushed all the time, right? Right. So Elcie Cosmetics Micro Silk, it's good stuff. Next up we have the OG of OG foundation. It's Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation. This is like literally the OG of all foundations. I feel like everyone has tried this at least once. This is the foundation that I know I can also depend on. It's been around for a while. It's one of those that's like foolproof. I really like this one because it leans a little bit more on the matte side. Now this is supposed to look really great in photos, and it does, but I really like this one because I don't have to set it that much because I feel like it almost sets itself. On me, it definitely has a demi-matte finish. A lot of people say this is like dewy or gets oily on them. I definitely don't have that problem. When I apply this, I can do like the lightest layer of powder, like something really, really light, and it's gonna last a really long time. This isn't the type of foundation that's gonna like wear off or feel sticky on the skin. It just sinks right into the skin, and it's an OG. It's definitely one of those that I know I can rely on. If I bring this in my kit, I do have a couple of shades, I know that it's gonna look good. Like, I can trust it with my clients, and that makes it a definite must-have for me. So if you're a freelance makeup artist, definitely get into Makeup Forever HD. It's one that you should definitely just have in your arsenal. I feel like if you're just contemplating what foundation should I use on this person, like they don't have dry, they don't have oily, they just want something that's gonna look airbrushed, Makeup Forever HD. It's bomb. I usually use the shade 123, but right now I don't even know what shades I'm at because I had a tan, it left, it faded, but I'm not like super duper pale anymore, so I'm like in between shades, but typically I use shade 123. If you're having a hard time finding a shade in a foundation, check out Makeup Forever HD because they have all types of shades, so love it. Now the next two that I'm going to talk about are ones that I feel like I have to mention just because I've loved these for so long. Like since I first started buying high-end makeup, these were my babies. So Lancome Teint Miracle Foundation and Ysl Teinte Touche Clot. I haven't used these in a while, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but they're favorites of mine because I've used them for so long and I've repurchased so many of them. So let's talk about this one first, Lancome Teint Miracle. This is basically like Miracle in a bottle. If you're dry and you're feeling dehydrated, if you have dry patches, this is gonna be your baby. This is gonna make you look like you're not dry at all. Like when I was really dry when I first started with makeup and I wasn't really using oils or proper skincare, I would always look cakey. So I just bought this one. I just was like, ah. This definitely just made my skin look far from dry, and it was definitely dry. I remember one winter it was so bad and this one and the YSL ones were the only foundations that I could wear, like that weren't painful, that just didn't like bother me or irritate me. So this Lancome one does have an SPF. It's oil free and it says it gives you a healthy glow. It says it's for all skin types, which I don't doubt, but if you have dry or dehydrated skin, get on this one. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. If you feel like you're regenerating your skin or getting it back to normal, like, and it's still really dry and a lot of foundations just look really cakey, and no matter what you do, try this one. It has a pump, which is really awesome. It is a little pricey, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion because it's gonna give you that healthy look. This gives like a bounce to your skin and it makes you look super healthy and super youthful. So I feel like I need to get back into this one. I probably have to buy a new one because I don't know how old this one is, but trust me when I tell you, it'll give you that healthy look back. If you have dry skin, if you're looking for a wintertime foundation, try this out. A lot of people have purchased this because of me, and I'm guessing they have oily skin, dry skin, like just all types of skin. So I don't think this is just for dry skin. I think if you have oily skin, it's still gonna work for you, but if you have dry skin, it's really gonna work for you, and you don't really have to prime or prep or do anything. It's just this on the skin and you look good. So Lancome Teint Miracle, definitely a good one. And then the Ysl Touche Clot. Now I haven't repurchased this one. This one's really old and I feel like I don't even use it because I feel like it's expired or something in here, but they redid the formula. So my cousin bought this because of me and she fell in love with it. She went through a whole bottle and she went to Sephora and repurchased it, but it was a lot different. Like it was horrible. She hated it. It was patchy. She was like, what the heck happened? So they actually redid the formula. I haven't tried the new formula of this. It's like Touche Clot, but the awakening one. I don't know really what that means. Please let me know if you used to love this, if you love the new one. I was reading reviews and a lot of people are like mixed. Some people were like, and other people were like, it's the same or better. I don't know. I heard the new formula is just a little more matte. I would also get that healthy look with this one. It just made my skin look anti-dry. Like if I had a dry patch, this would just like smooth over it and it was insane. So this was definitely a trusty one for me. I used it for a really long time. I repurchased different shades. I feel like YSL should just bring this one back because I heard the new one's more matte and I just loved this one because it was so easy and foolproof and like easy. That's the best way I can describe it. If you look up Rosita Applebum YSL Teint Touche Clot, videos will come up of me wearing this and you'll just see how it just like gives my skin like a bounce. Like it just plumps the skin and just looks bomb. So I missed this one and I haven't used it because the color is just off and I feel like it's just really expired, but I keep it because I feel like I just want to talk about it, you know? I feel like every time I talk about foundations and I don't mention these two, everyone goes crazy. I do love the other Lancome foundation. It's a 24-hour wear one, but I'm leaving that one for another video where I talk about best foundations for oily skin or best matte foundations. These are my holy grail high-end foundations. These are foundations that I do not mind spending a lot of money on. Trust me, it kills me when I go and I spend $62 on a foundation, but when they're this good, they're totally worth it. Foundation is something that I just cannot skimp out on. It's just something that I need to make sure it looks flawless all the time in camera and in person and for my clients. So foundation is one thing that I'm really picky about. Don't get me wrong though, drugstore foundations, Maybelline and L'Oreal, I honestly love those a lot, but these are just the ones that I go to Sephora and I hunt down and I repurchase and I'm always talking about and I'm always loving, and they just last a really long time. So these are my top 10. Let me know what your favorite high-end foundation is, if it was in this list or not. I would love to know. Every time I see a picture, I'm always wondering like, what foundation are they wearing? It's just something that really intrigues me. I'm really into foundation and different shades and formulas and finishes. My goal is to look Facetune in person, so I feel like I'm always going to be on the search for a new foundation because it's just something that I enjoy buying, I enjoy wearing, I just enjoy reviewing. So let me know which is your favorite. I'm going to talk about this in tomorrow's video, but I just wanted to mention the lipstick that I'm wearing. It's the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in Bals. Obsessed with it. I am so in love. It's the only color I want to wear right now, and I definitely have the struggle pony right now. I'm not trying to put too much heat on my hair every single day, so ponytail it was. And yes, I'm still sick. That's why I sound like this. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.